going to move on now to the next topic, and that is our subdivision signage, our neighborhoods. We're going to talk neighborhoods because we know that, especially where I live, Morgan City, it's a landlocked community, and we can, develop another section, which we really, all is good, but every neighborhood is an important neighborhood. And with that, we're going to turn to Catherine Holcomb and Mayor Lee Dragna.
Can everybody hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can. How about you, Lee?
Yes.
Great.
All right, good morning. Before I get started with this, I just want to thank Mr. Belanger. South Central Planning actually helped us get started with our first bike grant writing in 2017, which was 4 years ago. So I'll continue to, and we'll get to some more local information. This is exciting. We got started with this in order to promote community pride and as an offshoot of the Bike Morgan City project, which would connect the city neighborhoods to each other and to parks and recreation with a biking walking trail. St. Mary XL started this effort to identify those neighborhoods with signage. So each neighborhood with a sign already pictured here is a result of that effort. The neighborhood has raised its own funds to purchase the pictured signs, and if they choose to, the landscaping around the signs. The city shrimp and petroleum design unifies the sign, the city, but each neighborhood chose a unique symbol to put on the left side of the sign to represent its own personality. Lakeside is working right now on securing 2 signs. The city of Morgan City has installed all of the signs and even took them down before the hurricanes last fall and reinstalled them to protect them because they're pretty expensive. The question marks identify neighborhoods that have nice signs already. We're hoping that residents in the rest of the neighborhoods also will step up to purchase and install a sign. This is not an exhaustive list of the neighborhoods, but it is a beginning. The town of Berwick has been working on enhancing its community with a walking, biking trail and also signage. And its lighthouse has now become a recognized brand for Berwick. If I say lighthouse, you say Berwick. Our goal here is to celebrate our unity and our uniqueness together. So that's the sign information. And I'm going to go on to the next slide to just update you on the bike trails and what's been happening with that. And I'm going to ask Mayor Dragna to speak when I'm finished and tell us some more. So if you could just go to the next slide. Okay, so here's a picture of the progress we've made so far. The neighborhood signage project, again, was a direct result of our work to promote our walking bicycle effort. Right before the Urban Land Institute report in 2018, St. Mary XL began securing funds for the walking biking trails. The town of Berwick had already built its trails and ours needed to be rebuilt. So after the ULI report, which supported the completion of the Bike Morgan City plan, excuse me, I'm coughing, I have to cough, sorry. Okay. To connect the lakes and riverfront to the Berwick trails and also enhance the quality of life for residents in Tourist alike, the H&B Young Foundation paid for an engineering design of the whole project, which you see on the slide. The Young Foundation also agreed to match funds for 3 of the grants that have been submitted so far. We worked with city governments to close the old Highway 90 bridge for pedestrian bike crossing use once a month before the bridge paintings began, and we hope to continue to do so when the bridges are finished. As you can see from the slide, much has been accomplished and we're excited about what is to come. The 2 trails in red were completely funded by the city of Morgan City. Mayor Grizzaffi worked to get that done before he left office. The ones marked beginning in green represent 3 recreational trails grants that have been approved and construction will be started soon. Mayor Dragna is working hard to get everything in order to start working on those trails. He'll speak on that in a minute. The state has already committed $275,000 and the Young Foundation $102,000 for those trails. The blue pending lines represent outstanding submitted grants requesting almost $1 million of funding. We've heard that unofficially we will be awarded the Safe Routes grant of $350,000 to connect downtown Morgan City to Youngs Road for safe access to the South Louisiana Community College. The X's mark the Louisiana 182 pedestrian signal intersection improvements that was just submitted 2 weeks ago. These two grants were submitted for us through cooperation with South Central Planning Safety Coordinator Cassie Parker. Two outstanding recreational trails grants, one that would connect the city to Lake Inn Park on the Hellenic Canal property, and the other that would pave under the Highway 90 bridge and connect the Cajun Coast Visitor Center levee trail all the way to Front Street under the protective cover of the bridge, were submitted in the summer of 2020. And I'd like to give a shout out to Oshner's, which is committed to buying bicycle racks to promote healthy exercise into town. Before I finish, I'd also like to stress that this is happening because of cooperation and working together as community. When our trails are complete and we can ride over the bridge to Berwick, we will have over 25 miles of safe, usable trails joining our two communities and possibly extending throughout the parish. So thanks. And I'd like to right now recognize our new mayor, Lee Dragna, to speak on both projects. We're looking forward to working with him to successfully continue the work.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I want to thank St. Mary XL for all the hard work they've been doing. Actually, I'm very impressed, to be honest with you. And to Mayor Grizzaffi, who completed those two red places that say completed on your slide. They just finished the one on Justice Street that brings you out to the lake. And we're working right now with the grant money and our partners with Hellenic on completing those other ones that you have in green that say beginning. Also, I visited, I was out at Creighton Towers, and I believe that your green line that goes to the park, we're gonna have to extend it all the way to the towers, because would be a great asset to our trails and for tourism too, for people that are visiting the Lake Inn Park. To jump over to the signage, Marquee Manor, Auburn, and Cypress Gardens presently have great signs. The city's going to commit to putting those flower beds in for those signs, using our new beautification supervisor soon to be appointed. To create these flower beds around those signs and the signs around Morgan City, the city of Morgan City signs. Also, we know Lakeside subdivision is developing two signs, and we're gonna create the flower beds for those two. You don't have to worry about that. We're gonna take care of it. Well, beautification is a big thing that needs to happen, and that helps a lot. Also with these trails being completed, what we noticed is that during this pandemic, there's a lot of activities that are restricted. And we've been noticing more and more people riding bikes, walking around town, and not only kids, adults too, a lot of adults. And we believe that these trails, once they're completed and they're able to be accessed around the whole town, that people will actually have a lot of access to the nature, because a lot of them are on top of levees and they can look out over the lake, they can look into the woods, they can see birds and animals. I just think it's a great thing to get people back exercising again. Everybody lately has always been on a computer, on this phone that we're on right now, but not out in the nature. And I believe that that's a fantastic thing that's happening right now. We actually, like we talked about, we're actually working on this green spot that says beginning, which is approximately 7,500 feet, which we'll be able to complete with this grant money, and the great help that we get from our partners at HB Young Foundation. And also I want to let you know that Morgan City is going to be rolling out many more citizen-based activities in the near future here, to get more people involved in our community, not just the walking trails and the bike trails, but in other aspects of our community. That's coming pretty soon. We're just fighting this pandemic right now.
Okay, well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ms. Holcomb. Kelly, are you getting any questions in?
No questions, just excitement and gratitude for what Mayor Dragna's already doing as he's stepping into office. And of course, Catherine, what you've done, and Miss Monica with the St. Mary Excel with the bike trails and signs. So
I'll just
very
say
exciting.
it was a great report, just
It
tying
is.
municipality to the regional planning and just what can happen when everybody comes to the table together. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Belanger. Thank you, Ms. Holcomb. Thank you, Mayor Dragna. And you saw that applause go up every time something good is happening.